I think what we've all seen is the shift to streaming, and unfortunately, our contracts were not negotiated for streaming, they were negotiated for network television.
Yep, remember, every time there's a big social or technological shuffle, the people on top will use that shuffle as an excuse to strangle existing contracts and labor relation policies to get more money. Anytime there's a shakeup, the money always goes up. This is a fundamental property of capitalism. It's the accumulation of wealth at the top. And every time there's a big mix-up, like say, for example, the Great Depression, every time the pieces get settled again and everything gets built back up, there will be fewer banks than before. Every time there's a big mix-up, a bunch of people and things disappear, a smaller, more powerful group remains, and they make more and have more than before. Every time. Yeah, it is a feature of the system, and it happens basically every time, with like very few exceptions.
So in some instances, we don't have protections on streaming in the way that we have protections on network television. And so what you have are situations that now occur where we're not being compensated fairly. And so a residual is something when the show re-airs somewhere or it gets sold to another outlet, we get a check. Sometimes those checks are pretty good. Maybe you get $1,000 one day in the mail that you weren't expecting. Sometimes those checks are literally 1 cent.
Remember in BoJack Horseman where the entire premise is that he was an actor in an old, like, corny 90s TV show, and he was able to live like a millionaire for the rest of his life off of the residuals that he got from that single show? Nowadays, an actor will, like, literally bounce project to project, and because residuals don't factor in for streaming services, they, like, you get the money you get for that project, and that's it, okay? A lot of actors don't make much money. The actors that make a ton of money are the ones that have so much, like, name recognition value that, like, their presence in a movie will cost $25 million or whatever, you know? Like, sure, if Will Smith is in a movie, okay, he'll get paid. If Scarlett Johansson's in a movie, she'll get paid. But if you're just, like, a regular actor who does good work, even a mid-tier prominent one, you know, there's a very real chance that the shift to streaming has effectively meant that, like, working on a show that gets broadcast exclusively through streaming is a one-and-done deal for you. Like, you don't even get residuals from it. And what that means is that people can't coast between jobs anymore. A lot of actors no longer have the ability to do a good job. It's really popular, they get paid well, and they live on that for like a year or two while looking for another good job. Now they're like gig workers. They're like Uber drivers. They have to scramble between jobs as frantically as they can because they don't get any kind of cushion to last. It's the fucking gig economy. It's always the fucking gig economy.
Biggest thing I was on a show on Netflix called Bonding.
And a reminder that none of this is because the money's not there, okay? More people are watching TV, more people are watching movies in total through streaming than ever before. This is not a product of like there was less demand for the things being produced at all. There's so much money here. Bob Iger is getting paid tens of millions, and that's just flat salary per year, not even counting his stock options. There are tons of people making tons of money. They're just all at the top.
My show was originally like an independent series, and then Netflix bought it and put it on their platform, which was amazing. And more people saw it than I ever anticipated, like millions and millions of people. The way the contracts were set up, because the budget was so low, was that there was no residuals involved in it.
It sounds like you made nothing, like nothing in residuals. Like you didn't make a dime in residuals?
I didn't make a single dollar in residuals for that show. As residuals are going down and as these shows are being pulled off platforms or not aired, actors aren't receiving any residuals from them.
Mm-hmm. Also, there have been like sometimes for tax purposes or to save on hosting money, they'll literally just like remove shows or movies from a platform. Not even like Netflix no longer has the right to show Fooly Cooly or whatever, which I'm still mad about. But like, yeah, we made this show 2 years ago, but we're just taking it off. And now it doesn't exist online anymore. The only place it existed was on that streaming service. And now it's just gone. The only way it still exists in any capacity is if somebody ripped the file and then uploaded it to a torrent site. In other respects, it literally does not exist anymore. Yeah, the HBO cartoon purge, where they got rid of a ton of cartoons, yeah.
Which leads them to not be able to often make their health insurance.
So health insurance is obviously a difficult thing when you're in a business where your income is completely unpredictable.
I was a series regular on NCIS Los Angeles. I played Nell Jones for 11 network television seasons. I received a letter from SAG letting me know that I no longer qualified for health insurance. What was the work for? You know, my labor lines the pockets of these executives.
The idea of being on an NCIS show for 11 seasons and not having health insurance is like wild. That's like insane, you know? The idea of an environment where you can be stopped on the street because people recognize you, but like you don't, like this is like, it's like, yeah. Neither can a lot of workers too. Yeah, to be clear, what they're talking about here is a plight shared by most workers in America, but I think it's particularly egregious in this case because with actors in this environment, the schism between the work they do, the profits it makes others, and what they get for it is particularly severe, right? Like, labor exploitation is a factor in capitalism for everyone, but this is like a very specifically, I think, like exacerbated element of it, you know? Not to say they're suffering more than other people. Just, look, I'm glad that actors are speaking up about this. They are literally the most visible people in America. And if anyone needs to speak up about labor rights, it is the visible people, the people who will be listened to.
You know, I have a friend who is an incredible actor, was cast on a Marvel Disney Plus show as a prominent actor's mom, and she made $500 from her time on that show. That is just not sustainable. You cannot sustain life on $500.
All we're asking for is for the ability, not even to get rich. It's for the ability to...
And keep in mind, by the way, like $500, even if that's just like a one-time appearance in one episode, showing up for a major production, even for a brief appearance, means so much work beforehand. Like, you like, even if you just briefly show up or whatever, or even if you just briefly interact this year, you're just very quickly shown, you are immersed in like think of all of the pre-production and like bureaucracy and everything that you have to go through in like a Marvel production before they'll let you anywhere near a camera. You know what I mean? It's not like showing up for a student film or something.
And what I want for all actors is a sense that our union is fighting for us in a way that will keep us here and that will continue to protect us in a really long-term thinking type of way.
We have to get comfortable advocating for.
There's another really big threat to like any kind of labor advocacy in this particular field, and it's the same reason why businesses like it when there's high unemployment, because people are much less likely to quit out of frustration if they know there's a bunch of people ready to take their job if they leave. And that's because for every actor or writer in Hollywood, there are 10 wannabe actors or writers. So you can like treat the current crop of actors and writers terribly and they can all leave, but there's another army of them who are more desperate, who are more poor, who are willing to come in and do the best they can. And by maintaining a, basically you have like an infinite army of scabs who are always available because, oh, you get to work in Hollywood, who can basically undercut like any existing labor advocacy. Marx called unemployed people the reserve army because they keep wages low. Yeah, corporations love unemployed people. They love unemployed people.
For ourselves, our benefits, our access to pensions, our minimums, everything is degrading. It's not keeping up with inflation. And if we don't take a stand, there's no way the life of a working, stable performer is going to be a viable lifestyle anymore. We're going to lose it if we don't fight for it.
Sheesh. AI is going to make this so much worse. Yeah, I guess it already is, right? The future of movies is a bunch of stunt actors who are paid $5 a production, who have like green masks on so that dead famous actors can have their faces digitally projected and AI molded onto them.